Welcome to Kristen's contour class. My name is Anne-Marie and we are going to be playing makeup together tonight. So if you're seeing this part, it means that you're catching the replay. So in the comments, you can write hashtag replay, and then that will let Kristen and I know that we can get back to any questions that you have as we go through our little lesson. So hi Kathleen. Hi Lauren. How's everybody? I hope that you all are having a great night. We're just gonna wait a couple seconds. I want to make sure that Kristen can get on, and then we'll get started. So hi Kristen. Hi Kristen. How's everybody? Hi Allison, welcome. This is a little makeup class that Kristen put together, and I'm gonna walk you guys through the easiest makeup you've ever seen. It's the coolest thing. It's so great. So I have no makeup on right now, and we're just gonna get started with some really easy things. So I'm doing a little technical stuff right here, but will you write in here how you and Kristen Bush know each other and where you are, because I am in North Carolina. I'm on the East Coast. I know we've got a lot of West Coast friends here, and I want to get to know where you guys are from. So do that, and then we're just gonna get started. Okay. I have to do some technical things too. Okay. Well, I want to give you a little intro about me. And hi Holly, welcome. This is Kristen's makeup class. So I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I am a teacher. I teach online at a university, and so I'm going to give you guys some tips for makeup in Zoom land, because a lot of my career has been working international, and I have had a long career building relationships and teaching online and trying to make myself look presentable online. So my background is clinical research in the pharma industry, but I have been teaching at a university for the last 3 years, and my whole program is online, so all of my students are online. So I want to give you some tips if you are in the workforce and you are conducting your business online. A couple little tips for how you can work on your setting and your appearance and how that appears online. So, okay, cool. So if this is an open discussion. I will keep my eye on the comments. Kristen will too. We will answer any questions that you have. I am not a makeup professional, so let me share that with you. Like I said, I have a background in clinical research and pharmaceuticals, and I was always afraid that I didn't know what to do with makeup. I like to wear makeup, but I never knew what to do, and I never would in a million years have gone to a makeup counter and said, "Can you help me? I don't know what to do." That was really hard for me. I always wanted to, but I never did. And mascara came along and gave me confidence about makeup and made it so super simple. And I think you've probably all been seeing some tips that Kristen shared this week with like really basic graphics. We are all about pretty and practical here, because this is a group of women that are busy, working, moms, handling everything, but most of us like to look put together because it makes us feel like we're being our best selves for wherever we show up in the day. And that's why I love it, and I know that's one reason that Kristen loves it too. So let's just get at it. And so we're gonna do a simple, what we call highlight and contour. And actually, while we're doing that, I'm gonna moisturize, because the first tip that I'm gonna tell you is if you moisturize in the morning, you need to wait a little bit to put your makeup on. So I just used the moisturizer that mascara uses because I'm addicted to it. But you have to wait probably like at least 5 minutes before you put your makeup on, because your makeup will slide off. If you hop out of the shower, throw moisturizer on, your makeup is gonna slide off. But this particular kind of makeup that we loves moisturized skin. It loves exfoliated skin and moisturized skin. So first tip, get your moisturizer dried. Now, obviously mine's not gonna be that dried, but I got out of the shower a little while ago and I didn't put it on. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do when I do my makeup is use a setting spray. This is the Stay setting spray, and it smells like coconuts. And in the deep south where I live, it's humid all the time. And priming my face helps my makeup last longer. I don't know what the science behind it is, but priming it gives me a longer look, which is amazing because historically I'd have a meeting till 2 in the afternoon and I'd have that gray look on my makeup and I'd go to the meeting and think, what the heck? I look worse now than I did when I came here. I have found that using a setting spray helps a lot. So I use that first as a primer with that little sponge. So if you have ever seen one of these beauty blenders, one way to use them, and this is the way that I prefer after a lot of trial and error, is to take this little guy and wet it under the sink. Squish it out, get it wet, but wring it out so then it's only damp. And then you can spray the setting spray right on it. And we're going to use this a little bit later to set our makeup, but that's one way to use this beauty blender, okay? So, highlighting and contouring, what is the deal and why can it be really helpful and fast for us? Well, if you are familiar with the color wheel and familiar with lights and shadows, that's all that makeup does. Makeup and contouring help bring brightness to the center of your face because anything that is bright will attract attention and look lit up and look alive. Like, for example, has anyone ever worn a white t-shirt in a group photograph and you get the picture back and you're like, oh my God, there I am. I'm standing out right in the middle of the picture because the bright lights up. And what highlighting is going to do is brighten up the center of your face around your beautiful eyes and your smile and where your personality comes out, which I think is even more important now that we're all wearing masks. Contouring is the opposite of that. Contouring is like your little black dress. When you want to be svelte and, shapely and sleek and a little hidden, that is what contouring is. Because what the contouring will do, and this is the little palette you've probably seen Kristen talk about, the contouring is gonna go under your features. And by adding a little bit of a shadow under your features, you help them stand out because if you didn't have pronounced cheekbones, they wouldn't create a shadow. And so what we're doing is giving them the shadow that they deserve because they're high and beautiful. And opposite that shadow is brightness, which makes us look alive. So this is cream makeup and you use it with a brush and you don't need a lot, ladies. I will start up here and I will, where my jaw and my cheekbone come together, you can usually feel that landmark, and I will swipe it on and I will press it in. Now, this contouring situation is going to look a little tribal and ridiculous because what we do is teach this with a paint by number approach. And so I am going to use this little paint by number card. Can you see that? That might be a little too bright. Let me see it. There we go. Can you see that? So what we do is we look at the face and we use a paint by number approach. And so we add a contour under the cheekbones. We add a contour around the forehead. If we have maybe a forehead that we want to diminish or a long forehead, you can add a little darkness around there to create a shadow and diminish it. You can contour the nose and slim out the nose. It's just a light and shadow game and it's so fun. You can also kind of bring some definition to your jawline. So kind of memorize this. I know we've got it in the post Kristen has earlier, but that's what we use for a paint by number technique. I had to keep mine taped to the mirror when I got started too. So, all right, so let's dive into it. So the fun thing is this is all foundation. And we call it a 3D foundation because we're adding dimension. Unlike a flat one color foundation that doesn't add light and brightness, the 3D foundation brings the dimension out in your features and it looks so natural. So I'm gonna just apply it first. I told you I'm not a makeup artist, so it's gonna look a little wacky, and that's okay. All right, so I'm literally just smearing this on. And these colors are all customized for my skin, so they're probably not gonna look like what Kristen has or what she's shown you, but the fun thing is that we have all different colors to match Lady's skin, because it's so important that you get a color that looks like your skin. And even you might even have to change colors if you're getting some sun or it's winter time. I certainly have to do that. But the cool thing about this, check this out, is that these are all magnetic and they pop out. So when you run out of a color, you only have to replace the one that you need that works for your skin, which is so cool. Okay, actually, let me kind of wipe that off. So I'm using the same brush. Brushes overwhelmed me at the beginning of using makeup. I didn't really know what to do, how to do it, why they were important. And you can get away with using like 1 or 2 brushes. Okay, this is actually even amazing for kind of toning out skin unevenness, like in the corner of my eyes. I don't know about you guys, but I have such darkness in that part of my eye, and it makes it go away. So this not only is a foundation, a paint by number foundation, but it works as a color corrector too. It's like it's the most amazing thing, which is why getting letting Kristen help you with a color match is really great, because we will look at skin tone colors, work with you on any skin issues, anything that you want to kind of cover up. But you can already see like how that shadow. Now, if you are working online and you are like in Zoom land, like all of a sudden, I haven't even blended it in, but you can already see like my cheekbone is there. It's like, hello. It's brightening up the center. Like I look like I'm alive and ready to work and ready to engage with you virtually. Okay. So all I did was put the skin tone foundation around the contour. I just filled in the gaps. The next thing that I'm going to do is take a lighter color, even a lighter foundation color. And I'm going to use the small end of this brush. These brushes are double-ended, which I love. And I'm going to add a shade lighter on that inner part of my eye, kind of like out here, and even like under this bag that I have here, all the way down to the corner of my nose. And that will just be an extra brightening step, which again just makes me look alive and alert and like ready to go. And it transfers really well on the camera. We have a lot of professionals that use this for their headshots and for weddings also. Okay, so it looks kind of bright. Let me see if I can mess with the lighting. Okay, is that a little better? Is that too dark? I'm gonna put a little brightener here between my forehead and down the bridge of my nose. And then I'm gonna play with nose contouring a little. And no, I haven't blended it in. I will, and you'll see. All right, so I'm gonna take the edge of this brush and I'm gonna put 2 narrow lines down the center of my nose, on top of the center of my nose. And that will help my nose stand out and like add a little bit more dimension. Yay! I won't have a Voldemort nose. It will actually look like it's there. And it's really fun to slim out your nose and play with this. Okay, so I look pretty crazy, right? I mean, I know. All right, what I'm gonna do is take a fluffy brush. These are synthetic brushes, which are made just for the cream based makeup. And I'm just gonna buff the colors out. So I'm softening them. I am not rubbing them, I'm just gently buffing them out. Can you see that? I'm just gonna do this side first so you can see. My little compact has a mirror in it, that's why I keep looking over here. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to see your questions. Dark circles around the eyes. We can work with that. How pretty is that? So crazy, totally crazy. This is the Magic Maker. This real fluffy brush is a great way to buff out those colors. And if you've not used cream makeup before, it's pretty fun because a couple minutes after it's on, it really looks like the second skin glow. Like, it's not cakey, it's not drying. We've got different tips and tricks based on your skin type, whether you have dry or oily skin. So it can make it really workable for any skin type. So talk to Kristen if you're interested about that, but it's so easy and amazing. Okay, so that took a little while because I was explaining to you, but honestly, you slap that color on, you blend it out, it takes 5 minutes. Like, it's crazy. All right, so the most fun part that I think, and this is where I love having a Zoom call, is Illuminator. Illuminator goes on the high points of your cheek. This is a cream illuminator. So you put it right on your cheek. You can put it up in the arch of your brow. You can put it on the top of your brow bone, the high points of your face. You can put it on the tip of your nose. And when you're in a Zoom call, your cheekbones look amazing. It is such a fun way to, I mean, I'll tell you, when I've had Zoom calls, I'm kind of like looking at my face like, because the illuminator is a profile thing. It adds that shine. To me, it's like the peak of a mountain. Like if you've just carved out like your beautiful cheekbones and you want them to look so high and lifted, I love putting that illuminator up there because it's like the peak of a mountain that's snow-capped and you can always see it. Like, that's probably a stupid analogy, but I love it. Okay, illuminator's also fun as a lip color. Okay, but I kind of jumped ahead of myself there a little bit because one thing that we also love to do is add a little bit of blush. So that fluffy brush has a more dense end. And when you go to apply blush, ladies, you're gonna smile and find the apple of your cheek and press that blush on top of the cheekbone. Okay? And this is still a cream-based product, so all the colors marry together really well. And it's buildable, so you can make it as dark or as sheer as you like. And that's a really pretty color. That one's called Hollywood. And the lip and cheek colors are so fun. These little tins of makeup come with little lids on them, little tin lids, and then that's how you can save them and pop them in and out of your compact. And the makeup, the lip and cheeks last, I don't know, 6 months to a year. It kind of just depends how often you use them. I would say the highlight, that's your skin tone color. It lasts like 3 to 6 months depending on how much you use it. The contour you can get more life out of. I would say probably 6 to 9 months. And these little tins of makeup are only $14 a piece. They're super affordable. And I'll tell you, they're super addicting because then you can just try a couple little different things. And if you have never thought before, here's that lip and cheek, isn't that pretty? To shade down your makeup color in the winter, it's so easy to do because you just ask Kristen for another color match, you send her another picture, and then she gives you a color recommendation and you just pop it in. It's the easiest thing and it still looks so supernatural. So, not supernatural, but supernatural. Does that make sense? All right, so the illuminator, that is just the most fun. That's the icing on the cake. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to talk about, because it's this time of year, is bronzer. So a lot of ladies are really great about protecting their face with sunblock and then wearing hats, and then we have maybe tanner bodies than our face. Sometimes our faces are a little white in the summer. One really easy tip is to get a bronzer, this Bella bronzer, put it in your tin, put it on the fluffy end of the brush, and you can warm up your face, and also, ladies, bring it down your neck. So then your face does not look like it's a totally separate appendage to someone else's body. It's a really good way. So for ladies that have like very fair necks or like really tan skin, like a lot of our customers that play tennis have like really tan bodies and fair faces, and this is a really good way to kind of pull that all together. And in fact, this weekend, I don't do contour all the time. I'll always do bronzer because it makes me feel alive, and it's so easy. It just fits right in there. So Really simple contouring tips. 2 brushes that I used tonight were, this was called the Detail Hack, and hack again is highlight and contour, but it has this nice edge that I like to put the contour on with. I can blend it as I go. I can just put it on and blend later. It's got a small end, which I like to use for the inner eye. And then the B squared brush, blush, bronzer, all those things. Those are the essentials. Okay, let's talk a little bit about a simple eye and how to kind of multitask some of these things. So on the second level of this compact, which is bigger than my cell phone at this point, I have a couple eyeshadows here. This one's called Gilded. This is called Cupcake. This one's called Mama and Coal. And then this is a powder illuminator. And then there's a setting powder that also fits in here. So let's get started with that. The first thing I want to show you though is how I can either use the contour or an eyeshadow to fill in my eyebrows. I told you we're all about pretty and practical here. So this eyeshadow brush has like a pencil eraser domed into it, and I can use my eyeshadow to fill in my eyebrows, which is amazing, so amazing. Sometimes I can take the actual contour color and use an eyebrow brush with a dense angled end to it, dip it in there, and then use this to fill up the inner part of my eyebrow here, which is usually a thin spot for a lot of ladies. This part gets thin and so do the tails, but you can just use this edge in the bottom and brush it up with your same contour, which will match your skin tone and your hair, because we always look at that when recommending a color. And then you can kind of just draw your tails in there. And then when we set our makeup all together, it's all gonna stay put, I promise. So that's another way to multitask. How fun is that? Awesome. Okay, so when you're going to do your eyeshadows, you can use your highlight foundation, ladies, to color correct your lids. Our lids are usually multi-toned, thin, vascular, and when you look at your whole face without any makeup on, your lids are going to be usually, if you're over 30, a darker color, and this part is usually the darkest part of somebody's eye. So use your highlight color to color correct your lids and give yourself a base, a foundation base for your eyeshadow. Now, you can use a setting powder kind of to kind of set it. My eyelids get a little weepy in there. I have deep set and hooded eyes, and so my lids get a little damp, and then I'll get those lines of eyeshadow in there. So if that's something that you struggle with, use your setting powder to kind of dry them a little bit first and help prime them, okay? So I want to do a really simple eyeshadow lesson for you. And also this is going to be another zinger for my Zoom friends out there. All right, take a darker color. Here I've built this little palette with 2 dark shades, a medium shade, and a light shade, okay? And so if you are looking at your eye, I want you to kind of become a student of your eye. I want you to observe the angle between the outer lash line of your eye and the outer part of your brow, so this angle right here, and your eyeshadow, ladies, is going to go inside of that. If you can cut your eye into thirds, outer third goes up to the arch of your brow, middle third, and inner third. And what we're going to do is think of our eyeshadow in an ombre manner with the darker color in the palette out here, the mid-tone, and the lightest color inside. Because remember, lighter is going to open, okay? So you can get a real soft brush. This one's called the Eyeshadow Everything brush. And I'm gonna work this outer corner. I'm gonna put the eyeshadow, I'm kind of just swirling it on, and I'm starting from the outside and swirling inward because I want to be mindful of that angle, okay? If I go past that angle, it will tend to give my eye the appearance that it's droopy and that it's sleepy. So keep your darker tones out here. You can start in your crease depending on what kind of eye you have. If you've got some hooded eyes, meaning you open your eyes and you can't see any eyeshadow that you just put on, what you need to do is put it more on the actual bone. And that might be a little higher than what you're comfortable with. But I promise it's gonna work out. Okay, gonna do it on the other eye. So again, starting out here, be mindful of that angle. I have to correct myself. I have to hold the brush down at the bottom and let the brush do the brushing. I don't need to control this so much. If the color's too dark, I'm just gonna keep brushing it out and softening it. Same thing if I want it to be darker. I'm just gonna keep adding a little bit more, okay? Into the crease. Okay, nice. Now, for maybe a little dramatic look, an evening look, because we're all going out in the evening, you can take the small end of that into that same color and run it along the lower lash line and diminish it inward, okay? Just a little. These are powder eyeshadows, so sometimes I'll dust off like that. Now, personally, I think I got a little too much. So what I'm doing is taking the brush that I used for my foundation when I was doing my inner eye, and I'm kind of using it to erase. And that, I will tell you, is something super fun about cream makeup, is you cannot mess it up. It is foolproof. And I mean that, I'm so serious about that. If you take the contour and go straight across your face, it's okay. You just wipe it away or use your brush and then you set it later. It's not like the liquid foundation that if it gets wet, you have like a big gap there. It's not that way. You can blend it. It is the coolest thing. I think it's the best makeup for beginners because it is so forgiving. Okay. So you can erase it. It's all good. All right, next I'm gonna take that mid-tone color. This one's called Mama, it's light pink. Swirl it on my brush. Now you can clean your brushes off in between. Sometimes I'll sit with a little makeup rag or a little brush cleaner sponge to kind of dust those off. Sometimes when I'm super lazy, most days, I do this. Same on the other side. Now, a shimmer is a really fun thing to put right here in the center of your eyeball, but you can kind of see how we're working the ombre gradient. Yes? All right, now, the last thing, well, two more things for eyeshadow. Well, three. I'm gonna take a light color and put it up in the arch of my brow, and then just kind of blend it all together. Because what that'll do is accentuate the lift in the brow. And you guessed it, I'm bright-eyed and ready for my meeting, and I'm looking very attentive. See, it's so, so simple. And just keep swirling. All right, so we have one color to use that is gonna be for the inner eye, that's gonna open us up. And this is an illuminator, just like the illuminator that I used, this cream one here that I used on my cheeks, and then in the center of my lips. Always love that. This is a powder illuminator, and you can do this tip with a shimmery eyeshadow. You can do it with a cream illuminator. This one just happened to be a powder illuminator that I had in my kit and wanted to show you, and it matched the other colors. That one's called Photoshop, and all I did was take that lighter shimmery illuminator, which is in a bundle right now. It's like on sale with this shimmery angel illuminator. Adding that brighter color wakes your eyes up. Can you see? I love it. It's the best tip. Okay. So pretty. I love that. And now it's like, do you know how late it is here? I don't even know where to go. I need to come see you guys. Okay. So So that's a simple little quad that you can, little eyeshadow quad that Kristen can help you put together. You can try it with your own eyeshadows. Honestly, we just want you girls to be happy and just feel excited about makeup, because makeup should be simple, and that's our goal, is to teach you some simple tricks. Okay, so back to, if we want to clean up the eyeshadow like we were talking about with the angle, you can take whatever was left on your foundation brush and kind of just clean up that whole angle in general. Okay, super easy, so easy. Okay, now we want to set our makeup, and so there's a couple different ways you can do this, and Kristen can help you kind of triage what a good way for you to be, if you're oily or if you're dry. So if you are oily, you can get that setting powder. Honestly, any translucent setting powder will be fine, to be honest. You can take a powder brush, or you can use that big fluffy brush that we were blending with and cinch it like this. Go right into the same compact. It's so fun. It's just like a book. You're just going all around. And you can set with this translucent setting powder. If you are a woman of color and need to set with a translucent setting powder, we have a powder bronzer. That's called the Cayman bronzer. That's powder. That is a really good option for women of color. Okay. Set with that. You can set with setting spray. The setting spray that we use to prime, you can, honest to goodness, spray it on your face. Just spray it on your face. It leaves a really pretty, dewy, natural look. For beginners, I like to go back to the Perfector sponge and spray the sponge like we did at the beginning, and then use that to press your makeup in. Use it to press it in. Now, I would put powders on after this. I kind of did it in the reverse order for you guys. So if you are dry or normal, balanced skin, the fun thing about doing it this way when you're learning is that it helps take off extra makeup. So you're not worried about walking around with like a makeup smudge or that cakey look. Cream makeup will never look cakey, but it also helps press the makeup in. It's especially helpful for women that have texture to their skin or maybe acne. It's also helpful for women who have very thin skin. Some older women have very thin skin that kind of moves when you pull it or press the makeup in. So this helps those ladies as well. So awesome, so easy. Now, if you're going to be on camera, you might want to touch up your illuminator. But also, when you're on camera, you don't want to be shiny. So the translucent setting powder might be the thing that you try when you're first going on camera. And so I'll use the powder brush. It fits right into the setting powder. And then I'll go over my T-zone. So I feel like I'm kind of oily because I did the Stay Spray right then. So I'll go right into my T-zone, onto my nose. And then for an extra hold, you can see how that like just took away the shine. So if you're on camera, if you're a Zoom person, that really helps. So that is a really good tip. Another thing to think of when you're setting up your space for work and Zoom is that be mindful of your background. You probably all have been experimenting with that, but the lighting that comes into your camera, that comes into your face, that might be on in the back of the room, will alter your appearance. So try to have all the lights shut off in the back, in your background. Figure out where the natural light is coming from, and then if you can get a ring light super cheap on Amazon. I even have one that sits up on my computer when I'm filming and doing my lecture recordings, and it just helps my face come out from the shadow and come out, and then that will just make your personality easier to come across the camera and into your students' realm, and it'll really just set your face off, and you won't get lost into the background. So I am so glad to see you. I hope that that was simple and was not overwhelming. If you have any questions, please drop them here. Reach out to Kristen. I will absolutely get back to you as well. I'll check for questions. But this is such a game changer, and like paint by number is the easiest thing. Every single person can do paint by number, and it's a little addicting, and I love it. And I'm so glad to have been here. Kristen, thank you for inviting me. And it was really fun to see some of your friends and answer questions. And you can always come back to Kristen's group, look at past information that she has shared. You can even search in her group for questions like dry skin, illuminator, contour, and some of the information that she shared is searchable, and so you'll be able to use that as a reference, which is kind of fun. You can poke around secret and nobody will know, and then ask her any questions, and we're so glad to help you. So have a great week. Be in touch, and thank you so much for watching. Good job, Kristen. Thank you. You're so good at this. Have a great night.